healthcare, foreign policy, Trump bad. I mean, it was kind of the same stuff. So I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch much of that last night, but that's why I've got experts on today, because they had to, like Dr. Nathaniel Cogley. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Interim head of the Department of Government at Tarleton State University. So what did you take away from last night? Was there any big winner, any big loser? I mean, what's your overall take?
Well, I'm taking away that you had a similar impression as President Trump, who tweeted boring about 30 minutes through, right? So,
yeah, I didn't make it 30, though. I only made it about 8.
Trump got a lot of attention out of one word, so
yeah.
He's pretty clever on that front. Yeah, there were no major fireworks, no major grand slams. There were some differences carved out between the candidates. Elizabeth Warren, if you watch CNN, they really felt she won. I did think she came across as, depending on your take, she's either angry or fiery. But she had good energy and was articulate. And remember, she's 70 years old, so it's good that she's not showing age here. And she keeps moving in on kind of Bernie's space, and maybe Bernie doesn't own it, but she might be a better vehicle for that. So she's kind of taking some poll numbers from him. There was this interesting back and forth between Julian Castro and Beto O'Rourke on certain immigration regulation that requires adults crossing the border to be arrested on a criminal activity. And I thought the exchange was fine. Castro was saying we got to revoke 1325, and Beto was saying, well, we want to keep that there for drug dealers and human traffickers. And I thought it was a fine exchange, but I was really impressed how CNN was really bashing O'Rourke. So I'm not so sure he had a horrible debate, but he's kind of losing the narrative of the night. If he's just going to be bashed in a lot of the media.
Yeah, two things here, Doctor. First of all, the way this thing was set up with only a minute to answer really doesn't give anybody any chance to get in depth or throw their true feelings out there. And I don't like the setup of the debate. And, the other thing about last night, too, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these candidates are going to go way left because they're trying to get the Democratic nomination. If this were a presidential debate on TV, you'd see them going a little more middle, wouldn't you?
Yeah, sure. But, of course, plurality is going to win a lot of states. So if there's a lot of candidates on the left, that opens up a lot of space in the moderate wing of the party to maybe get a plurality and do well. So I thought actually Senator Klobuchar, presented herself as centrist. John Delaney was very centrist in all of his approaches, talking about appealing to middle America and stuff like that. So there's space in the moderate wing. If it's like a balancing act. If the left side gets too crowded, there's space on the moderate side. Talking
to interim head of the Department of Government at Tarleton State University, Dr. Nathaniel Cogley. Two things stood out to me when I watched some of the clips this morning. Number one, Beto O'Rourke speaking Spanish. It turns me off, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, when I feel they're pandering. And I thought he was pandering. I thought it's like, dude, you're Irish. I mean, you got a nickname that's Spanish. Quit playing the race card, if you will. That bothered me. And then Castro talking about just, let's get rid of ICE, open borders, the whole thing. I think that's going to come back to haunt him later on.
Yeah, he came out very much, they just come in, whereas some people held off on that. And some of the narrative on some of the media was that Castro won that exchange. I'm not so sure his kind of everyone comes in and can't be detained approach is going to resonate very well, So, I'd agree with your assessment there.
Okay, last but not least, before I let you go, they were talking about last night being the little kids table. Now we're at the adult table. Biden's got a big lead when it comes to polling. Do you think this is going to get ugly tonight?
Yeah, so Biden's the target. So usually the person number one in the polls comes under what we call friendly fire, fire from his own party. Mm-hmm. And so he's sitting there when there's a lot of people who are also doing well, who would like to, do better and bring Biden down a notch. So both Harris and Bernie and Pete Buttigieg. And, we can expect that there's going to be a lot more fiery exchanges in this thing. I will say the Democrats are handling their large field maybe in a better way than the Republicans did in 2016. we remember the Republicans had like the main debate and then the smaller debate before the debate,
Yeah.
kind of a back-to-back debate.
Right.
So if you were bored through this, I mean, imagine it watching two debates back-to-back rather than separate nights, and having one designated as the minor league debate. And this was a problem for people like Rick Perry, who couldn't get out of the minor league debate, or the Bobby Jindal, governor of Louisiana, that couldn't get out of those minor league debates. So this is kind of putting everyone more on an equal platform.
Yeah.
I will say the candidate that interests me the most, which I think might be a good choice for the Democrats, and I think he's going to resonate in Iowa, is not going to be in either debate. So that's Governor Steve Bullock out of Montana. He's a Democrat who's won Republican state twice.
Okay.
And he's done that on the Democratic platform. Not only that, who didn't have a great night was Governor Inslee of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't expect Governor Hickenlooper to have a good debate tonight either. And I think there's space for a governor. And Governor Bullock has won a Republican state because he's charismatic. He gives a good speech. He's likable. He just announced he waited for the Montana legislative session to end. He didn't announce till June, so he hasn't qualified for these debates. But as long as Inslee and Hickenlooper don't get ground, there's going to be space for Bullock later to make some noise in Iowa.
All right. Doctor, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's Dr. Nathaniel Cogley, interim head of the Department of Government at Tarleton State University.